Spent a lot of my life alone, just by myself, which is kind of a surprise because I grew up with two brothers, but we never really got along. Still don't really get along that well, but we're not, we don't even live in the same house anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But when I was a kid, when we were kids, I should say, we just never really clicked. We didn't really have a close brotherly bond or whatever. Which is fine. It's whatever. I don't, you know. But I grew up just kind of lonely, I guess. And I mean, alone is not quite the same as lonely. You know, you can be in a room full of people and still feel quite lonely. I've been there many times, many, many times. But just kind of always, kind of just grew up in my room by myself. You know, I kind of just grew up in my bedroom. Didn't really talk to anybody, didn't really do anything, didn't really have a lot of friends growing up, which I suppose is a pretty big contributing factor. But just like I said, I kind of just grew up in my bedroom. Me and my brother, for that matter. It's kind of just how we were raised. It was kind of the parenting style my dad took, was to just kind of leave us be, leave us to our own devices, literally and physically, like gaming consoles and stuff, you know, just kind of hang out in your room and do what you want to do, play your video games. We'll all be happy, we'll all be fine, leave each other alone, you know. At my mom's house, me and my brother would always fight a lot, very physically violent. I always used to think my brother had anger issues because he would just beat the life out of me all the time. All the time. So, never really got along. Never really were friends by any means. And so, like I said, just spent a lot of time in my room by myself. All the time. A lot of time. Most of my time. And that's fine. I mean, who cares? You know, it's growing up. You do what you want to do. It never really bothered me when I was little. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just spend time alone in my room, being isolated or sheltered or whatever. Didn't really want to go out and deal with people or whatever. I mean, I was little, so I couldn't really go out on my own or whatever, but now I'm older and I'm still pretty lonely because I still just spend all my time alone in my room, basically, majority of my time, just chilling here by myself all the time. And it's not so fun anymore. It's not so exciting anymore. As a kid, it was great. I loved being left alone. I loved not being bothered by people. You know, my mostly just in my dad's house. I mean, I guess it's always been kind of back and forth between my mom and my dad's house. So my mom's house, we didn't really have video games, and honestly, to put it simply, we really just didn't have nicer stuff. My mom was, I don't want to say lower class, but basically just a bit lower class, I guess. So we didn't have as much just stuff in general, for that matter. We were pretty, we had our toys, Legos, that kind of stuff. That was about it for a long time. And so it's just the two of us, except we didn't get along because my brother liked to beat me up all the time, and I didn't really do anything to help it. Never really tried to get along with him. I was more of a shit talker and get hit for it, which kind of expected, you know. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? So it's kind of my own fault that we never got along to some degree, but neither one of us really ever cared to make an effort to get along with each other. Just was never a big concern, never really mattered. We had our own friends and whatever. What did we need a brotherly bond for? And our parents never really pushed us to build one either. So just never really mattered. But I remember in, I want to say like fourth grade, was my favorite school year. It's my favorite school year for a while because my brother had to leave the house sooner than I did. So we, at the time, we were staying at my mom's house, and our dad would pick us up for school in the morning, or maybe I think, kind of racking my brain, trying to remember how this all went. I think, if I remember correctly, my mom would take my brother to school with her when she would go to work. And then, because he had to go to school, sorry, I'm spacing out. She would have to go to work at, whatever time, 8 in the morning, be to work by 8 in the morning or whatever. I didn't have to go to school until like 9, something like that. And so she would take my brother with her to work, not to work, but drop him off at school, go to work, whatever. And I would just be at home by myself for like an hour, give or take 45 minutes, whatever. I was a little kid, probably like 12, maybe less, maybe younger, somewhere around that age. And I would just wait for my dad to come pick me up, take me to school. And it was the best little hour of my life for the time, for my age, because I just had a full, unsupervised hour on the computer, and it wasn't anything weird like you might be thinking. I would literally just sit there on our crappy little desktop that we just, our basic little thing, basic little computer. I would just sit there and play like Minecraft or like Newgrounds Flash games for, an hour, however long I was able to. And I cherished it. Every day was my favorite part of the day because I would just got to be by myself. I didn't have to share the computer with my stupid brother. I didn't have to, you know, share with my mom for that matter because she always liked to play her online poker. So she was always taking up the computer when we were out of school. Didn't have to share with my brother because he was older, so he always got, priority or whatever. Um, so it was wonderful. It was my favorite little time of day, my favorite little moment of the day, my little hour by myself. Little did I know that I would grow up to be alone all of the time, just constantly by myself so much. And I guess I should have seen it coming, to be honest, from a little younger age. I mean, for a good amount of years, I did it to myself. I isolated myself. I guess to this day, I still am doing it to myself. I still am kind of isolating myself from everybody I know and love to a degree. But, yeah, I mean, I suppose I should have seen it coming from the times I spent, I'm not, I'm not very smart. I'm not very smart at all. Um, it's fine, I suppose. I don't know. I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy being alone, right? It used to be nice. It used to be good. It used to be my favorite time of day, like I just said. Told my whole little story. Spending my one little hour every day, and it used to be wonderful. I used to love it. And I grew up and just spent more and more and more and more time by myself, more and more time alone. I started to not love it so much. Started to feel it a little more. I was young, I was alone, it was fine. It was good even. I liked being alone. Like I said, I've always been introverted. I've always been pretty sheltered is not the right word, but I'm gonna use it because I can't think of anything better. So I guess I've always been a bit sheltered as a kid and just, like I said, kept to myself in my little space. I was happy. That's all I needed. And it just continued as I got older. It just continued and continued and continued. Didn't get any better. Didn't do anything to get any better. Like, I say I should have seen it coming because I feel like there were little signs or factors, I guess. Maybe not factors, but definitely like signs. Like, when I would go to sleepovers with my friends, which granted, I guess I should take a step back and talk about the fact that I really didn't have a lot of friends growing up either. I would always have a couple. I'd always have a couple friends in my daycare. I had like 3 friends, my 3 main friends. One of them I went to school with. I met him in like preschool or kindergarten or something, and he was my only friend. He's my only friend for probably like 2 years. Kind of hard to remember because I was so young, but I'll say like probably like 2 years. He was the only friend I had. And then there's another kid we went to daycare with. We kind of were like the 3 amigos, just the 3 of us, and this girl who would kind of pop in and out of our friend group, but she was never like, I don't know. As a kid, it's different, friendships are different as a kid. So it was always just the 3 of us that I could remember. It was the main 3, I suppose. And even then, it was just mostly me and this one kid that went to school together because we just were always, we had the convenience of go to daycare in the morning, see each other, go to school together because it was right across the street. So we would walk as like a big group, walk across the street to school, hang out at recess. We'd find, he'd always come and look for me. It's kind of why we clicked, I feel like, is because he always tried to find me. He always made an effort to find me and come hang out with me. And then eventually we got to the age of like sleepovers and stuff, and I would get these terrible like heart aches. We'll go with. We'll just call it an ache. So I don't know what else. That's what it felt like, was just an ache in my chest. I'd have to leave because he didn't come and stay at my house very often. I can only think of maybe once or twice that he came and had a sleepover at my house, which is fine. Doesn't matter, especially not anymore. But every time I would leave, I would get this just overwhelming sadness about it. I would feel so sad that he was leaving, that our weekend would be over, as if our friendship would be over because of it or something, which is obviously not the case, but I don't know. I'm a little kid. It's hard to rationalize things in my head. So I'd just get really sad about it. I couldn't really spend any time at anyone else's house. It's the only person's house that I could comfortably spend sleepovers at, or have sleepovers at. Don't know why, but I always had homesickness issues. I've always had homesickness issues. I think they've gotten better as I've gotten older, but I just I would get really like sick if I stayed the night at other people's houses. So only his was the only house I could stay at for whatever reason. And I would just get terribly, terribly sad about it after I'd leave. And so I feel like I should have seen these signs from my youth that I am just too sensitive. I'm too sensitive of a person. I think that's what it boils down to. Honestly, I think if nothing else, it's not what I meant to do, but whatever. Let's do it like, you know what? Because I don't really know what else it could be. So I'm gonna just assume it's just my sensitivity or my trust issues, I guess. My sensitivity turns into trust issues where I'm maybe some kind of a trust issue. This, I guess, more of a concern that I don't know how people feel about me. I guess it is a trust issue. I don't trust that people tell me the truth of how they feel about me. I always feel like, I don't know, people use me or something. Not that they ever really do or did, but it just kind of itches away at me, kind of bugs me. Feeling like I just am a unimportant piece of the puzzle. I'm just kind of there because I'm there, not because anybody really wants me to be or something. I don't know what it is. Don't know where it came from. I know it started sometime in high school, and it's been stuck with me ever since. It's caused me to just push everybody away and not have to deal with anybody. Not have to, well, I shouldn't say deal with anybody, but not have to talk to anybody and just continue on this self-isolation. And it kind of sucks, to be honest. It kind of sucks now. You know, I for a while it was fine. It was, I mean, it's what I wanted, right? In some capacity, this is what I asked for by leaving everybody to, well, I guess I didn't leave everybody, but I left everybody alone until they started to leave me alone, until they stopped reaching out, stopped making an effort. Which, like I said, I guess in some capacity, it's what I wanted to happen. I wanted everybody to leave me alone and stop reaching out and stop caring and stop checking in on me. And I guess in some way it's because it's what I always expected them to do at some point anyways. And so I felt like I was just ripping off the band-aid, making it easier for them by, you know, if I cut contact and I make no effort, eventually they'll stop making an effort and they'll stop caring and they'll stop trying. And that's exactly what happened. So it never came as a surprise to me, but I guess I never thought it would hurt this much. I guess I didn't really think it all the way through. I suppose, you know, I I wanted to be alone because I thought I was going to make some sort of change or some sort of upgrade to my life that I felt like I was so desperately searching for. Because when I got out of high school, things were, well, not rough. Honestly, I think in some ways things were better when I got out of high school. Things were very different than they are right now. Different house, really an entire different life when I think about it sometimes, really. But in some ways things were better. In some ways things were worse. I think my mental was a bit better, but in some cases, in some ways, I think it was a bit worse. Because directly out of high school was when I really was reconnecting with my friends. I was making up for a lot of lost time because I didn't go to school, right? I didn't go to really any school after probably fifth grade, fourth grade. Middle school was basically non-existent for me. So hence why I kind of grew up without very many friends, because I didn't really go anywhere to make friends or to connect with the friends that I did have. I just stayed at home in my room by myself all the time. And I had some friends online. I had some great friends online. I've always had pretty great online friends all my life up until now, which I guess is kind of what is inspiring this video. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, trying to I've been trying to collect my thoughts for probably like an hour and a half before I started this, so I apologize. I'm a little jumbled today. But anywho, taking another step back, I had friends in school at one point, right? Okay. So I talked about my three amigos in daycare. I guess there was four of us if you count me, but anyways, in third grade, my best friend forever, my kindergarten, preschool, whatever best friend, moved away, moved across town, new school district, way nicer neighborhood, but that's not the point. He moved away, right? No longer going to school together anymore. But also in third grade, my new best friend coincidentally moved to town, just moved into the city, different city. Don't remember how far away it was, but I don't think it was very far. Anywho, not really the point. Just kind of a big year for me, right? My best friend moves away, and the only way we can keep in touch is online and through our parents, because neither of us have phones, because we're in third grade. And now this new kid moves into my school, and I don't remember how we met, but we hit it off pretty fast. Hit it off pretty well. I think this was in third grade. I'm pretty sure it was in third grade. But, anyways, we became really good friends. We became, honestly, the best of friends. And he was all I really needed. It was just him, really. I didn't really have anybody else for quite some time. And it, especially because I didn't go to school after that. So I made my friend, and we had a couple years together in third and fourth grade, and maybe a little bit of fifth, I think. But then after middle school started, I just stopped going. I got really sick, really bad stomach problems, and stopped going to school. But he always checked for me every day, every time, every new year, the first day of school, orientation, or whatever they called it. He would always find me if I was there. Because I don't remember how many first days of school I actually went to. I know I feel like I tried every year. And every year I was like, oh, it's going to be different this year. And it wouldn't be. It needed to be because I was on probation and I was just not in a good place mentally, physically. Like, the house is not what I mean by that, but I like physically like my stomach, I guess. I don't know, dude. I'm just jumbled thoughts right now. Anyway, I would try to make an effort. I had to. You know, my parents are on my case, mostly my dad, because at a certain point, probation took away custody from my mom. So my dad was technically my sole parent or whatever, however that's defined. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, best friend, my best friend would always check for me, would always make an effort, come and update me about the summer and whatever drama he got himself into and whatever, you know? It was good. It was so good to have a friend like that. It's wonderful. And I guess I took advantage of it to a degree because I just kept leaving every time, every year. I would disappear again, disappear back into my bedroom, where my safe space, I guess, to some capacity. But not really. I don't know. But anywho, didn't really have much friends in real life. Like I said, it's always been like two or three at a time, if even. And I would barely make an effort to keep up with them. I didn't have much of a social life. I wasn't the type that was going out to, well, obviously I wasn't going to sleepovers and stuff because I had bad homesickness and stuff like that. So my social life was pretty non-existent for a long time. But I always had internet friends because I always had a PlayStation at my dad's house. I always had a PlayStation. My brother had an Xbox. I had a PlayStation. He had the basement. I had my bedroom. And that's just how we lived our lives. It was very separated, like in the same house, but apart, very far apart. And my dad was the same way. I suppose that's why he raised us the way he did, because he would just stay on the couch and watch his movies or play his games or whatever. We all had our own little sections of the house that we stayed in. And like when it was dinner time, my dad would just yell, "The dinner's ready." And we would come running from our little rooms to get our little plates and run back to our little rooms. We didn't have family time or social time or whatever. But I had my friends. I had my friends on the internet. Always had my friends on the internet for a long time. And so, after a while of not going to school, my dad got understandably suspicious and kind of just assumed that I was skipping school to stay home and play video games all day with my internet friends, which, to be fair, my internet friends also had school, so I couldn't really skip school to play games with my friends when they're also in school. I was still just by myself, but that's besides the point. The point is after a while, I my dad would like take my PlayStation away and stuff whenever I wouldn't go to school because I wouldn't go for months at a time, years at a time even. So he'd take the PlayStation away, and then I would spend my whole day just in my room by myself with nothing to do, no one to talk to, ever, at all the time. Hello there. Goodbye. Um, why am I going? What am I? I was going up there for a reason. I don't remember what, so whatever. Anyways, just alone all the time. By myself all the time. That's fine. That was fine. It didn't bother me for a long time. The only thing that really bothered me was my stomach issues, or I guess maybe that's what I thought was bothering me for a long time. Maybe in reality it was the loneliness that was getting to me, just the lack of connection to anybody, the lack of communication with anybody that bothered me so bad, but I could never make an effort to do better because I was always so used to being alone and just, you know, it's always been the normal for me. Even in a house full of people, I'm alone in my bedroom by myself. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody needs to talk to me. Nobody needs to hear from me. It's just me, myself, and I. All it needed to be. All it ever needed to be. And I suppose that's where this came from. Like I said, I feel like the writing was on the wall. You know, I call it self-isolating, but in reality, I feel like I'm just returning back to who I've always been, just alone, just by myself, you know. If this is what's been normal for me for so long, then it's just returning to my nature in some way, right? But it doesn't really help the fact that it's sad and I'm lonely and I'm sad about it and I can't do anything about it. I can't bring myself to make any effort about it. I have tried, I've tried. I I come to the same argument in my head every time that what's the point? What is the point? And the point is pretty obviously right here in front of me. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to spend all this time locked away in my room by myself doing nothing. But what else is there to do? I'm not a kid anymore. I can't go out and just chase the sun all day. Can't just, you know? live my life and do whatever seems fun or seems fit for the day, or wander around after school aimlessly through the city looking for something to do. I'm an adult now, and I have a life that I'm supposed to be trying to put together, trying to build, trying to grow, trying to survive, you know? I mean, shit. I'm stuck in my childhood home, living in the basement, going nowhere, making no sort of efforts to to live. Well, I guess that's not entirely true, but that's really how it feels. Every day I'm just alone, doing the same things. Even if I do something different, it's how much different can it be, you know? I don't know. I'm just kind of miserable, I guess. Kind of melancholy more than anything. Really just lonely. Don't want to do anything about it. Can't bring myself to do anything about it because I can't see the point in it, you know? Like I said, the point is pretty obviously in front of me. I don't want to be lonely, so I reach out to people to not be alone anymore, right? I'm sure I got a contact list full of people to talk to. I got internet friends that I am sure would be happy to make a Discord or something and chat it up or something, but well, the reality is it's not true, as I don't have a contact list full of people that want to chat it up, or a group of internet friends that want to talk. I mean, I did at one point. I did have an internet or friend of a group of friends, if I could speak. I did, and I suppose it's not like they went anywhere. I mean, they still get together and chat and play whatever games they're playing nowadays, but I, much like my real life friends, I drifted away from them too. And I just don't really see myself drifting back anytime soon, if ever. I'm kind of stuck in my ways, stuck in this uh, hope that I'm gonna make a change or make a difference or whatever it is that I'm seemingly waiting around for. I don't know. I don't know anymore because I isolated myself to better my life. I felt like my friends were taking up too much of my time, too much of a distraction. Wasn't trying to, wasn't, didn't feel like anybody was really trying to go anywhere, I guess. And that's not to disrespect them by any means. It's just that we were young and wanted to have fun, wanted to enjoy our lives, and I could only do that for so long before reality set in for me that my life is not meant to be sat around and enjoyed. I was not given the right cards to be able to just waste away and have fun. I needed to start living, or not living, but start growing up. I needed to get a job and make some money. My mom couldn't afford the house we were living at, and nobody was coming to save us. Nobody was coming to take all that stress away, take all that whatever, you know. It was just me and my mom. It was just the two of us. That nobody was coming to help, you know? And I couldn't sit by and let my mom struggle by herself if I was physically capable and able. So I went and got a job. I very quickly realized how hard it is to balance a friendship, a relationship, and a job all at the same time. At least for me. I'm sure some people can do it like it's nothing, but for me, it's impossible. I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep everybody happy all the time and myself. You know, I work and I'm exhausted, I'm drained, and then I either spend my free time with my girlfriend or with my friends, and that leaves no time for me, the little the self-isolator who spent his whole childhood alone in his room, now constantly surrounded by people, constantly hanging out with my friends. I have a relationship now, which I never thought would happen. It was a lot to take on at one time, and I wasn't ready for it. I was 16, 17, freshly going to school, off probation now, and I just thought I could do it all. I thought I was Superman. I thought I could handle everything. I thought, I'm better now. My stomach doesn't hurt anymore. I can get up and go to school confidently. I can get my homework done with no problems. I'm doing good on tests, you know. Why can't I spend all my time with my friends and with my girlfriend, And for a while it was fine. It was good even. It was I was living my life and I was so happy about it. I was so happy about it, but I couldn't do it. It was like balancing on a tightrope and I never realized it. Or it took me a while to realize it. I think I'm really just finally coming to a conclusion, maybe, as to why I am the way I am, why I am so adamant to keep myself in this little bubble, keep myself alone, keep everybody away from me. Why I don't want to let anybody in, why I don't let anybody in, why I refuse to make any efforts to rekindle friendships that never were broken, just I couldn't keep up with them anymore. I reverted to my old self of isolation and just being alone. But I'm an adult now, and being alone is lonely now. Being alone is heavy, almost. It's like a weight on my mind and my chest. I, but again, I will make no efforts. I will not reach out to talk. I will not ask for help. I'll not make new friends because I wouldn't even know where to start. But even if I do, they're just going to be disappointed. It doesn't matter if I make new friends, I'm just going to cut them off in a month or two, anyways, because I can't keep up with them. I can't keep up with people. I can't even keep up with myself. So I feel as if in some capacity, some ways, some days, I feel like I just don't deserve to have friends because I'm not a good friend in return. I will not treat you the way you deserve to be treated. I don't treat those that have been my friends the way they deserved to be treated. I cut them all off and let them all drift away and ignored everybody because I couldn't do it. Whatever reasoning is in my head that caused me to isolate myself, and as if I was gonna just, you know, get a nice job and all of a sudden I'd start making enough money to get my own house, and I guess at one point in time that was the hope. The hope was that I would get my own money and get my own place and I'd be able to just have friends over to stay with me and like become roommates or something, and I wouldn't have to worry about planning stuff to hang out, planning times to hang out. We'd just be together all the time or something. It's not reality. It's not what actually happened. And the reality of it sucks more than anything. I cut everybody off and I have nothing to show for it. I am, if anything, I've regressed more than I've done better. This whole idea that I was gonna just, I don't know, make my life happen, make my dreams come true or something, and give everybody something to be proud of, or I don't know. I don't know what the hope was, but well, I got nothing to show for it but this empty bedroom and the lonely man inside, I guess. I don't know. I'm just fucking lonely today. I don't know what it is about today. Maybe it's because my birthday's around the corner or something. I don't know what it is. Something's got me all in a mood. I don't know why I'm doing this up here. I need to just go back down into the little cave and something's got me missing my friends again. I don't know. I wish I could do better. I guess in some way, I wish my mental health was better to let me do the things I claim I want to do, like reaching out to my friends and whatever. But the reality is, I don't know if it would make a difference. I don't know if my mental health is the problem or if it's my situation, or I don't know. I got a lot of problems. I know that much. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. I got a lot of problems. I don't know how to solve them. Maybe they don't need to be solved. Maybe I'll be okay. Maybe. Maybe I will listen to myself and realize how stupid I sound and break the self-fulfilling prophecy and this never-ending cycle of I'm so blank, but I won't do anything to solve it. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I'll make an effort. Maybe I'll make a change. Maybe I'll just reach out to my internet friends or something. I doubt it. I'll probably just keep being lonely, and maybe someday I'll hit the jackpot and all of my problems will be solved and I will feel comfortable enough and proud enough of myself to reach out to people again or something. I don't know. Maybe 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 I'll just stay here in this Minecraft world and not feel so alone anymore. I don't know. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever. I love you. Goodbye.